All right, we should be live. What does Twitch have to say? What if we reload the page? Well, our phone says we're live. Yep, Twitch says we're live. Okay, we are live. That's exciting. We will hop into a league shortly. First, though, let's just take a quick look at the list. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to hear generic stream stuff and just want to watch gameplay, I think in the description I'm going to put links to each match, along with probably what the matchup was, so that it's kind of like what I've been doing just by uploading, but instead of 5 videos, it's just going to be 1 altogether. Anyways, we are playing Rug Delver, or Temur for those of you who prefer that name. We are going to slam a clock, a Delver, a Goyf, maybe a Mandrills, and we're going to try to maybe counter some stuff, bolt some dudes, counter some other stuff, cantrip a few times, and in the midst of all that, we're going to be attacking the opponent and eventually just win. That is basically our game plan. I'm assuming most people are familiar with Delver decks. In the sideboard, we often sideboard into a mid-range deck with Huntmaster, sometimes Blood Moon. It just increases our threat density, which is nice because Delver dies to a Stiff Breeze. Other stuff I'm doing more recently is Vendilion Click, which I've never cast, but it's a good card. And it should be good because I expect a lot more blue decks with J Sunband. We've got some extra permission in Deprive, Sweepers, Pyroclasm, Anger specifically for the graveyard decks. Blood Moon, very good against Tron, assuming you have a clock, but that's what we do. Spreading Seas to help big mana, help against big mana. Artifact Hate in Grudge and Revelry. We've got EE, which is a really good removal spell, doubles as a sweeper, which is nice. And I'm trying out a Basilisk Collar because life gain is actually really nice against creature decks. And Death Touch doesn't hurt either. It's just past 2, so let's head into a league. Tournaments, that one, that deck, competitive. I would love to. Yes, we are still using that deck. And let's hop into our first match. While we're waiting, we may as well head back to the deck so that anyone who wants to can look at it. Other somewhat interesting things, we're running a 1-of Savage Knuckleblade because I quite like it. It's resistant to Fatal Push, which is nice. We got paired. We also have a Curator of Mysteries, which I haven't played with very much, but hopefully it does work. We're on the play, so we're going to be on the play. And how good is this hand? We have a Traverse, actually, so we can traverse out that basic mountain. I don't really like having multiple Stubborn Denials in an opener, because Stubborn Denial doesn't do much against creature decks. Think we're going to keep it. I have not played in the format since Jason Bloodbraid Elf were unbanned, so this should be interesting. We can either slam Delver or just traverse. I think we're probably better off traversing here because we want to hit our land drops. Generally, if I have a blue source and a Serum Visions, I'm going to Visions before doing anything else because I don't really like the idea of being stuck on mana for no reason. We are playing against Tron. Well, that's a pretty good reason to slam the Delver on 1. That's the wrong color. I do that a lot. And we're probably just going to end up bolting face. Relic, that's fine. Oh, that's just going to be a pain. We don't even have a lot of graveyard synergies in our hand right now. But that Relic is going to make us do a lot of clicking. Chromatic Star, that's fine. They have some eggs. Basic Forest, sure. Smells like a Fatal Push. It's a Fatal Push. Alright. We're still going to bolt them because Bolt doesn't do much else. I like that they didn't play a second Tron land. Snapcaster Mage is not going to be cast. I think we're going to pass to them and then cycle Curator. Stubborn Denial if that comes up. But we're probably just going to cycle Curator here. Relic, yes. We will get rid of Delver. Maybe Lightning Bolt stays long enough for us to flash it back with Snapcaster Mage, but that's pretty unlikely. Stubborn Denial doing nothing against that Ancient Stirring, so that's going to resolve. They found another Tron land, and they played it immediately. Map, can't counter that either, so that's fine. Get rid of that, and let's cycle this. Technically, we should wait until their end step, just because we still have Denial up, so let's do that. Just in case they decide they want to cast something post-combat. Island, so we can slam Nux. That's something, and another land. Okay. So if we had cycled before we passed the turn, we would have drawn this island, played it, and then we would have drawn this Foothills and been able to go Nux while holding up Stubborn Denial, which probably would have been better. Then again, if they went land O-Stone, that's fine. I would have been pretty upset about not holding up the Stubborn Denial. We have red, green, double blue. We probably get Stomping Ground for the double red, double green, yeah. Our life total isn't very relevant here. Let's head to the opponent and hope they don't just have the Tron land in hand. Thank you for just blowing that relic. If they do have it in hand, they don't. Fantastic. We might make it out alive. If they go land O-Stone, we're still probably in massive amounts of trouble. Oh, Fatal Push? No. Maybe? Maybe they're digging for it? That's possible. I imagine they're trying to draw into something here. It's a push. Alright. Serum Visions is nice. Bottom. Oh, fantastic. We hit Mandrills. Unfortunately, we can't do anything with that yet. Let's bottom the Mishra's Bauble, and Stubborn Denial isn't doing... Oh, we don't have double blue. Okay. We can't cast Hooting Mandrills. We're going to pass the turn. So this is not a place you want to be against Tron. I'm assuming everyone knows that. Oh, and an Ulamog. That's fantastic. So what are our chances of winning here? We flash in a Snapcaster Mage. It can block. I think I just don't want to show them any more cards. We're going to get out of here. Let's go to game 2. How do we sideboard against Tron? Looks like the green-black variety. Artifact Hate for Wormcoil Engine. Blood Moon. I mean, we're looking to hit their mana, slow them down a bit. I think I want Click and Deprive as more permission to counter their stuff. I have a spreadsheet that I consult, so let's see what that says. Grudge, Revelry, Deprive, Click, 3 Blood Moon, Spreading Seas, fantastic. What are we taking out? We're going to drop 1 Snapcaster Mage because it is a bit slow. Curator, also kind of slow. Kind of very slow. 1 Forked Bolt, 1 Lightning Bolt. Burn isn't great here. I do like sending it to their face, especially when they're at 3 or less life. You can bolt down a Karn that exiled one of your permanents, which is a good thing. Take out a Vapor Snag and a Dismember. They don't have that many creatures that are decent targets for those, especially when we're boarding in things that hit Wormcoil in a more favorable way. And we're going to drop 2 Spell Snare because they don't run a lot of 2 CMC spells. That takes us to 60. Let's submit. We'll be on the play again. And we don't have a threat, but we have pretty decent mana, and we have a few cantrips, so I'm going to keep this. We don't have Blood Moon mana, which is a bit unfortunate, At least not if we decide to crack this fetch, which we probably want to do for these. Then again, we don't have Blood Moon in our hand immediately, so that's not a huge concern. It is somewhat of a concern, though. We found a Delver, and we're going to have another Delver. Let's top both of these. We're going to play this Bauble, but we're not going to crack it yet. We're looking to draw the first Delver, play the Steam Vents, cast both, turn over a Simic Charm, and then 3/2 Flyer Beatdown. This is the kind of start I'd rather have against Tron. Threats on the table. If we were playing against a red Tron deck, I'd have at least some reservations. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know they boarded in Thoughtseize, especially not against us. Another forest, another star, that's fine. We're going to flip over a Simic Charm. Now, we could actually crack this first and just put the Bauble on the stack immediately. I kind of like that idea, because then both Delvers will transform, we'll draw the Simic Charm, and we'll draw an additional card. So let's take a look at what they're going to draw. It's a Sylvan Scrying. Bauble is going to hit the stack first, so that it resolves last. We're going to show off the Simic Charm a couple times. Draw with the Bauble, draw for turn, play a land, and I kind of want to hold on to that Tarmogoyf because we do have Simic Charm up. We can't Visions and hold up Simic Charm due to that basic mountain, so I think we're just going to pass the turn here. I kind of like our spot, although knowing that they had the Sylvan Scrying, I could see wanting to slam the Tarmogoyf. They got an Urza's Tower. Bauble we may as well play out. We're going to get in for 6. They can't have Tron next turn, which means they'll have a maximum of 4 mana, so we don't have to worry about Thragtusk, which they do board in against us. It looked there like they were going for a Fatal Push. Maybe they then remembered the Simic Charm, but I imagine they have to fight through it anyways. I kind of want to just Bauble them in case we find a counterspell, but then again, maybe I should Bauble us in case we see a Stubborn Denial on top, in which case I want to slam that Tarmogoyf. It's a Revelry. We're going to pass the turn. They are going to do some stuff. Black mana. If it's a push, I think we're just going to Hexproof here, because they have a lot of stuff to work through. Green, blue. And let's let them have priority for a while. Ancient Stirrings, sure. I'm not sure if they have a way out of this at this point. They found an Urza's Mine. And they scooped. Fantastic. Let's head back to the sideboard. I think I want to keep things as is. I don't make that many changes in between post-board games just because I've already worked out what I usually sideboard against each matchup. So there's not that much room for adjustments, although if I see a card I've never considered before, that certainly takes at least some account in what I'm doing. And play versus draw sometimes matters too. That depends mostly on the matchup though. I think I still like this, so I'm probably just going to run it. We are probably going to be on the draw this time, which is a little unfortunate. How is this hand? It's just really bad. Blood Moon isn't doing anything for a little while. We have 1 cantrip, but no threats. These bolts are much better as top decks, and Snap isn't doing a lot either, so let's take a mulligan. This hand is pretty much strictly worse. We have a mountain, a bauble, a bunch of cards we can't cast. We're going to mulligan, and that's a keep. What do we got on top? It's a Tarfire. We're going to bottom that. See if we can recover. Tronland into Sphere. At least it wasn't a map. Mandrills makes me kind of want to go get a breeding pool, traverse out a basic island, that'll be 2 cards in the bin, 3 with Bauble, and then we can scour into Mandrills for turn 2. Breeding pool, we're gonna traverse out a basic island because having blue and green is going to be very important for the Mandrill's turn. And let's go to them. Knowing that they have Thoughtseize in their deck makes me not want to crack this Bauble on our turn. Second Urza's Tower is nice. Sylvan Scrying. They got a Tron land, not a basic. Take a look at what they're going to draw. Another Egg, sure, we'll draw twice. Deprive, that could be good later. Misty, that's definitely great. Okay, they know about the island, so I kind of don't want to give them much more information. Then again, we could crack the Misty, get a Steam Vents, Vision, slam Mandrills, which is pretty appealing. I think that's the play. We're going to ignore Blood Moon for the time being. We need the red source anyways. Tarmogoyf on top. Delver is a little late to the party. Maybe I just want both. Goyf's going to get a bit small, but we could grow it back up. That probably isn't a concern. It's also not attacking for at least a couple turns, so there's that. Expedition map. They're going to have Tron soon. We're going to want to hold up the Deprive, so I think we're not going to play out that Tarmogoyf. Let's get in. We probably need to counter whatever bomb they're about to cast. Unfortunately, they're going to have 10 mana, which means we could get Ulamogged here. Ulamog is probably just lights out. Don't think there's a lot we can do against an Ulamog, even if we counter it. It's going to take out Mandrills and a land. It's an Oblivion Stone. If we counter that, they still have the ability to Karn. Karn is a lot less scary, actually, so we're going to counter this. Blue, blue, we're going to bounce the island. May as well not bounce a shock. Our life total isn't that relevant, but it's also not that irrelevant. Karn? Karn. Probably takes out Mandrills. Takes out Mandrills, and we're going to bolt down the Karn to finish it off. Hopefully they don't have much more in the way of payoff. Yes, I would like to redirect that. Do we slam both threats? Probably. Don't think we can afford to let this game go much longer. Definitely not a good position. Is this an Ulamog? Ugin. Oh, it smells like an Ugin. They're stuck on 8 mana for a while here. It's Ugin. That's going to -2. Okay, there goes the board. Not a lot we can do against Ugin anyways, though, if we don't have a counter in hand. So it's not like playing out one of those threats would have been much better. Interestingly, Mandrills is currently immune to that Ugin. So let's scour. And a Stubborn Denial. Okay. There is a pretty small chance that we're back in this game. If they don't have any creatures, we can denial whatever they're trying to do, which is nice. If they have something like a Wormcoil or an Ulamog, we are probably just dead. Collective, Brutality. They want to bolt Mandrills with Ugin. That's the only real reason to do this. So we're going to counter it. I don't care about the second mode. We just can't afford to lose this Mandrills. Notably, the denial is pretty much worthless if Mandrills does go down, because they could just slam a Karn or whatever through the Mandrills, and we probably need an Ancient Grudge here. Land is not going to do it. Do we play that? We don't have a big reason to play it. I think we're just going to pass the turn, but chances are we're dead. I don't even think they're going to bother taking down the Ugin. If I were them, I would bolt me in the face. Just get in for a lot of damage. Wormcoil is going to do more than enough to keep them alive here. Wormcoil is very difficult for us to deal with once resolved. We have some artifact hate for it. We also sometimes use the artifact hate to snipe out an expedition map if they tapped out, or maybe to hit an O-Stone if they once again tapped out or just didn't have 5 mana. Which isn't bad. I like taking out O-Stone. Well, speak of the devil, he shall appear, yada yada yada. So how do we get out of this? We're going to take 6. Take another 3 off of the Ugin. They're going to go up to 22. I imagine on our turn they're going to crack the O-Stone. Take out Mandrills, get a couple of tokens. We basically can't win. Tarfire. Okay. Well, we're going to Tarfire them in the face. So at least there's that. They O-Stone. Oh, they're O-Stoning Ugin. That's fair. That is actually a very good idea. They're going to tick up Ugin, and we're just going to do that. Because we're dead anyway, so we may as well... we're not hitting Ugin. Ugin's kind of a nice guy. I read the Tarkir stories. I don't mind Ugin. And that's match 1. Little unfortunate how that went. But, you know, sometimes Tron does that. Now, let's see. I believe properties. Our record is now 0-1. Does that come up? Twitch. It'll probably be up there soon. It's somewhat delayed, and it's there. That's cool. Okay. In that case, I'm going to hop into the next match. And we shall see how this one goes. Tron isn't a great matchup. We probably have one of the better Tron matchups as far as Delver decks go, because Delver... I mean, it's somewhat aggressive being a tempo deck, but really you want to be an aggro deck against Tron, and we just aren't. We have threats. I run roughly 15 creatures in the main deck. That's probably not enough to really consistently have a couple by turn 2. And really, I think that's where you want to be against Tron. You can... Usually they have Tron online on turn 3. You can probably expect it to be online by turn 4. And at that point, they're taking out a good chunk of your board, either with a Karn, with an Ugin, something to that effect. So if we don't have a threat down by turn 4, we're probably in bad shape. And unfortunately, that's just what happens. We're on the play again. That's a good thing. This hand is a keep. Should be fine against most matchups. Mana leaks aren't always the best, but they're not that bad. They're never that bad. Let's grab a breeding pool. Gonna make me kind of sad if we're playing against an aggro deck, because I don't really want to fetch Shock before casting Forked Bolt in that case. But I also want to have a nice Visions. And I would love to have this Goyf on top. Don't really need the 4th land. Although Goyf plus Mana Leak isn't something I hate. We'll bottom it. Go to the opponent. Let's see what's up. Tron. Alright. Well, Tarmogoyf. So there. Bam. We are in the upkeep for some reason. Are there any instant 1 CMC colorless spells that Tron runs? I can't think of any. Do we want to fetch here? Honestly, we would probably just end up grabbing that forest. Although maybe I want to hold on to that. Let's shock. Play out Tarmogoyf. We might end up wanting triple blue, so I kind of like the idea of holding on to that Misty. Goyf resolved. There we go. Maybe the opponent... I don't know if they're thinking about anything, but we're playing against Blue Tron, so that's exciting. That makes me happy about holding on to the Misty. And we could tap out here for a Hooting Mandrills, but I don't know if we want to. I kind of want a Bolt Face to grow this Tarmogoyf. I definitely want to play this. We're going to do that. I like that. Goyf gets in. I kind of would rather hold up Mana Leak than slam Mandrills here. Second Tron land. Looks like that's all. And I think we're just going to untap. Repeal on Tarmogoyf. That's probably worth countering. Do we want to tap the red source, though? That's probably fine. Well, we have another Mana Leak up. We can't go Mandrills and Mana Leak. I do like attacking here. I think I want to hold up Mana Leak. They might have Natural Tron, which is going to make Mana Leak a lot worse. But I think I just want to pass the turn now. I don't love the idea of tapping out against Blue Tron. I also don't hate it. Blue Tron, do they run Ugin? I don't remember if they run Ugin. I know the deck is dramatically different than the regular green version. I also don't really like the idea of cracking the Misty, just because it makes Spreading Seas a lot better for them once we commit to a color. So I think we're just going to wait here. Well, it's not Tron. It's Solemn Simulacrum. That's going to slow us down a bit and draw them a card. I think we're going to counter it. Basic Forest or a red source? I think I'd rather have the... Oh, we definitely need a green source. I'm an idiot. We have a Hooting Mandrills in hand. Should probably make sure we can cast that before we worry about Spreading Seas hitting the steam vents. And Artifact Creature in the bin. Goyf got big. Can't say I dislike that Snap Leak. Looks like Mandrill's not going to get cast after all. Sorry, buddy. Snap Leak, untap, Forked Bolt you, swing with Goyf for lethal. Hopefully that's how it plays out. Map is fine. Can't leak that. Although we could go for it just to get them to tap out. Don't know how much I like that, though. We're not going to bother getting aggressive here, because I would much rather just have Snapcaster Mage in hand when we untap. Given that we have a Forked Bolt in hand, as long as this Goyf connects, we are just waiting on lethal. Now, we only have the one red source. I think I want to wait for them to tap a little lower, and then we'll just go for Snap Bolt. Don't really like the idea of going for the Forked Bolt while they have plenty of mana available. We also have a decent chunk of time before we actually go for the kill. There's the power plant. It's in play. They now have Tron. Plenty of mana. Wormcoil Engine. That's still fine. Although, we could have Snap Leaked to tap them out. I guess there's that. I think I'm just going to go for Snap Bolt. Do we want to Scour first? Maybe. Gives us more options, probably. At the very least, it lets us know what we're going to draw. Another Bolt got turned over. The Goyf in hand, not going to do a lot. We would like to target one of those. And we would also like to cast it. Hopefully they don't have the ability to play two counters here. Smells like Condescend. Remand. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, fantastic. They tapped out. That is pleasant. Alright. They're going to discard some stuff. EE. That's pretty cool. Main deck Engineered Explosives. I like it. Visions. Is there any way they can counter Forked Bolt? I don't think they are playing Disrupting Shoal. So I think we're just going to do this. Yes, that's fine. Cool. Let's head to the sideboard. I do not have a plan against Blue Tron. I don't remember the last time I played against Blue Tron. I am, however, going to play this a lot similarly to what I normally do. I just noticed we have stuff in the chat. I apologize. I was paying attention to the match. I don't have a deck list set up in Twitch. I will give you a link. Tron is one of our worst matchups. Yeah, it basically comes down to setting up clock, play Moon, and then hope they just don't hit their stuff on time. Eldrazi Tron is definitely worse, for me at least, than regular Tron. I do not like the Eldrazi Tron matchup. I hate it, actually. It's very bad. Walking Ballista made that deck far better than it used to be. Let's see. How are we going to sideboard here? I want the Revelry. I want the Blood Moons, even though they're not going to hit Basic Island. I don't know if I want Spreading Seas. Click seems good. Deprive still seems good. I like those 6. I also want the Ancient Grudge. I want to be able to take out a Platinum Angel. That's something that's at least somewhat important to me. Sundering Titan as well, although a good deal of its damage happens when it enters the battlefield. Do we want Spreading Seas? Let's see what we're going to take out. Dismember seems bad, although Dismember kills Platinum Angel, so that might stay. Vapor Snag can go. We're not cutting any Thought Scours because we want to be very fast here. Couple bolts. Snapcaster Mage seems better here than against regular Tron because the blue deck is a good deal slower. Deprive over Leak. I kind of want both, to be honest, but I could see cutting a Leak. We'll throw that over there. We need at least 2 more cards. Logic Knot, I very much like, but I already have Mandrills, Goyf, Snapcaster Mage, and Traverse. The Scours are pretty much mandatory just to fuel what we already have. I don't know if we can even afford Logic Knot, although I do quite like the card. So maybe, I think we're going to cut the Dismember. We need to cut some stuff. Maybe the Leak. I don't want to cut a Mandrills or Nux, because I want a lot of clocks here. I also don't really want to cut Snapcaster Mage. Spell Snare. I don't think Blue Tron has a lot of 2 CMC cards. Maybe? Would I rather have a Spell Snare over the Mana Leak? 8 seconds. Let's say no. We're going to run this. Maybe we'll change it after. We have Blood Moon mana, although we don't have the 3rd land for it. We have a clock. We're a little slow, but I kind of like it. Fetch, Visions, fetch again. That's 3 cards in the bin. That's a decent start for Mandrills. Simic Charm, not great yet. Flooded Strand is going to grab us. I open the Exile windows. Look at me go. We're going to get a Steam Vents. Definitely want to use the Flooded Strand first because it's the less versatile fetch. I run them because Scalding Tarn is expensive. Goyf I love. Blood Moon not looking good here. I think we're actually going to bottom it. Are we? This Delver doesn't look good, so I like bottoming that. I think next turn we're just going to slam Goyf. I don't really want both of these because Blood Moon makes me want lands and Delver makes me want things that aren't Blood Moon. So I'm not keeping both. We can play Delver next turn, but that's the only clock we're playing, so I think we're going to bottom that. And if we top Blood Moon, we're just hoping to find more lands, so I think we're going to bottom that too. And we'll get there eventually. Map. They're going to have Tron. At least they're not going to have 7 mana available next turn. Serum Visions I like. I think we're going to grab ourselves a basic forest here. We do have Deprive and Vendilion Click in the deck. But I think I'd rather worry about Blood Moon before getting Breeding Pool to worry about that. But maybe Breeding Pool is better. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I think our mana needs are more important here. Oh, Dismember. I was not expecting that. Alright. At least that makes it easier to cast Mandrills next turn. I have never run Deprive or Click in the board before, so I am not used to needing double blue, but I have a feeling that we probably will with this configuration. They discarded 2 Urza's Mine. Did that happen? They drew 3 and discarded 2 Urza's Mine. That's probably because they know they can get it with the map, I assume. I don't like that play, but I don't play Tron, so I probably don't know what they should be doing here. Another Tarmogoyf. That is easier for them to repeal than Mandrills, so I kind of just want to go Visions Mandrills here. And I think that's what we're going to do. Oh, we could also have grudged this map, but that seems a little risky. Do I want Flooded Strand? I might not want Mana Leak at this point. I very well might anyways, though. Flooded Strand gets us an island, and I don't think we're playing towards 4th land, but then again, we have a lot of stuff in hand. I kind of want both of these. We're going to top both in that order so we can fetch away the Mana Leak. We can shock and play Goyf. We can shock and Tarfire at our leisure. Think I want to shock. We could still Ancient Grudge this, but I think I'd rather get a clock and let them have Tron. But we also have a Mana Leak coming, so maybe we don't do that. If you didn't notice yet, this deck has a lot of decisions. So, yeah. We are probably going to be in the tank for a minute or so at a time, at least 20 seconds at a time, fairly frequently. It does make the deck very rewarding to play, though, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Goyf, Mandrills, or Grudge. I kind of don't want a Goyf because of repeal. And that means Mandrills or Grudge. If we Grudge, we take out the map. They might have Tron anyways, though they probably don't because they just discarded 2 Urza's Mine. I think I want to get my clock down. I'm going to get my clock down. I need to discard or delve some stuff. Cancel that, actually. We want to leave red up. Delve the whole bin. Tarfire is better for Goyf than anything in this graveyard currently, and I very much enjoy the idea of hitting them in the face for 2. Mandrills resolves. We can cast things, so we're going to have to manually pass here. On the point of Blood Moon that you guys were talking about in the chat, I don't particularly like it there. Oh, I'm a complete schmuck. They already had Urza's Mine on the battlefield. Complete schmuck. Tower was the one they needed. Discarding Mine makes complete sense. Also, in case no one noticed yet, I interrupt myself a lot. That's going to be a recurring thing. Back to the Blood Moon thing in chat. I do sometimes play Blood Moon even if we don't have basics in play. I've done it before. I imagine I will do it again at some point. We can't get another green source with this Flooded Strand, which is really unfortunate. Means we don't have Simic Charm up, but we might Ancient Grudge at some point. Blood Moon is the kind of card that sometimes it hurts you and the opponent. And to be quite frank, if it's going to hurt the opponent more than me, and I think playing Blood Moon makes more sense than not playing Blood Moon, I'll just slam it even if it looks bad. Doesn't matter. That might be a repeal. It is. That's annoying. We can't counter it. We're going to draw. We're going to have... do I want Mana Leak? I don't think I want Mana Leak. We have far too many things to worry about to want to draw that Mana Leak. I like getting an island, and I also like taking out the first half of this. I dislike that we can't flash it back and cast a fatty, but, you know. YOLO Slam is exactly how I would phrase it. Burst Lightning over Tarfire. Burst Lightning definitely has some merit to it. I don't know if I like it. We're going to cantrip here because we're not doing anything besides casting a fatty, and we might top deck a Denial with this Scour, or we will just get Blood Moon mana. In that case, we're going to play Goyf and potentially Simic Charm for Hexproof, which I like. I like that Tarfire is a tribal card. Very nice for our 5/6 Tarmogoyf right now. I very much enjoy having 5/6 Tarmogoyfs. Mishra's Bauble and Tarfire are very good for that. And it's probably the best thing since Sliced Bread. Gurmag Angler, Tassiger, they both get laughed at quite hard by the 5/6 Goyf. They're tapping 8 mana. I'm pretty scared. It's a Sundering Titan. Okay. At least we didn't crack that Misty yet. Does it have to target? I don't think it has to target. It does not have to target. We're not going to Simic Charm. Looks like we're not going to win this game. Mountain, Island, Forest. That's pretty good. That is pretty good, I must say. Except you can kick it to 4, which helps in grinding matchups. Yeah, there is definitely merit to Burst Lightning, but we don't have that many lands, so I don't know how often it's actually going to come up. If I'm the opponent, I kind of want to attack with the Death Touch Worm here, just to whittle away our life total, but they definitely have inevitability. What do we got? What can we do? We might just wait for the opponent to show us more cards. Lightning Bolt, that's not doing anything. Our 5/6 Goyf is doing nothing against that Death Touch Worm or the Sundering Titan. We can bounce the Sundering Titan, have Goyf trade with the Worm token, and then when Sundering Titan comes back down, we lose the rest of our lands. We're going to pass here. We are very likely just dead. We could play out the Hooting Mandrills. Sundering Titan is an artifact, and I just remembered we have an Ancient Grudge in the graveyard, which is really quite interesting. Is it or attacks? No, it's when it leaves the battlefield. Alright. This is going to be fun. They crack map. So, if we Ancient Grudge the Sundering Titan, we lose the rest of our lands. If we don't Ancient Grudge the Sundering Titan, we're probably dead. We're definitely dead, because we either chump block it for all of eternity, or we just lose. Now they swing with the Death Toucher. If we take the 10, we can't fetch. We could choose to get a Stomping Ground and bolt that Worm. We could also just trade Goyf with the Worm. Let's do that. We're not winning this. I just want to play as few cards as possible and allow the opponent to play as many cards as possible. Wooded Foothills. Fantastic. Doesn't really matter whatever that card was. We do not have a draw that wins us the game. We do not have a 2 mana, deal 14 to the opponent uncounterable card in our deck. They get back Wormcoil. That's not bad. Definitely not bad. I haven't played Blue-Red Delver for a long time. Probably since I started playing Temur. But I do see a lot of Burst Lightning in those lists. Let's head to the board one more time here. Do we want to change things? Did we see any 2 CMC cards? I don't believe we did. I could also believe in not wanting this Mana Leak, though. If we cut Mana Leak, what would we take? Spreading Seas seems definitely not as good as it is against Green Tron, but it's not the worst. Vapor Snag doesn't seem good. Hits Wormcoil, but I don't think that's really our goal per se. I mean, I like being able to deal with Wormcoil. I don't like relying on it, I want to say. I kind of just want the Spreading Seas. We're on the play, so that's another point for the Seas. Let's do it. Let's see how that goes. Let's be on the play. That's a good choice. Blood Moon mana, and Delver, and Mandrills. Let's do it. Blood Moon against blue decks is a very interesting thing. We're going to shock here. No need to use the Flooded Strand yet. When you play Blood Moon against blue decks, such as Jeskai Blue-White, those are both decks I very much enjoy boarding in Blood Moon against, you have to keep in mind that they play counterspells. And tapping out on turn 3 just to watch your Blood Moon get leaked, logic knotted, or remanded feels kind of bad. So you have to be careful about when you play the Blood Moon. Because Flooded Strand is not because Wooded Foothills is not a Misty Rainforest, top decking this forest does not give us blue-blue-green Blood Moon mana. But it's not the worst. It also means we actually don't have to play any of our fetches out, but I'm going to play this Flooded Strand and go to the opponent. Definitely sucks that we don't have a turn 2 play. We could have led on our fetch. If they dismember the Mandrills, we have 2 in the bin. We play out a second fetch, that's 3. And if we hit Mishra's Bauble, we could have done good things with Mandrills on 2, but we didn't. Now, they might counter our Blood Moon. I'm going to look up Condescend real quick. What's the mana cost on that? Blue X. That's unfortunate. Traverse isn't bad. Traverse definitely is not bad. We have nothing better to do than slam Mandrills. Slam Blood Moon. We could go for Mandrills first. I kind of like that, actually. We're going to get a Stomping Ground and go turn 3 Mandrills. Or do we get Breeding Pool? Might be more relevant. In case the Blood Moon doesn't resolve, let's do that. We're making Traverse much worse, but we also might end up traversing out a basic island to make Blood Moon better. Yes, thank you. There's a delay in Twitch, so I'm not surprised that I didn't see you replying to my inquiry about Condescend before I looked up Condescend, but I appreciate it all the same. Speak of the Condescend, there it is. Makes me kind of glad I didn't go for Blood Moon. Also makes me kind of disappointed that I didn't go for Blood Moon, because having the Mandrills dealt with is really bad. On the other hand, they don't have any basic islands in play yet, which is definitely an interesting point. Delver. Delver plus Moon or Traverse plus Moon? I think it's Delver plus Moon. Seems better. We can Traverse at our leisure. Assuming we don't top deck a Goyf or something to that effect, then we will just Traverse whenever we feel like it. They found the island. They also tapped a lot of mana. Walking Ballista, that's good. That is very good. Misty. That happens sometimes. Chances are we're not going to get this Traverse online, so I think I'd rather just cash it in now, fill up the graveyard, get my island. And we're going to go to the opponent in a very unfortunate turn of events. We need a threat. We need a threat now. Did not realize they played Walking Ballista. Don't think I would have changed throwing out the Delver either way. I definitely like slamming Delver there. Condescend is probably going to be a pain. But if they want to use the Walking Ballista to speed up their clock here, Condescend's a lot less relevant. Visions. Visions is good. Tarfire, Snapcaster Mage. We Tarfire and then we'll Snapcaster Mage. The Bauble isn't super relevant. I just want to double check my math here. Sorcery Creature, Tribal Instant, does add to what I want it to add to. That's 4. That means Snap Traverse does what I need it to. What threat are we going to get with Snap Traverse? Repeal is online. Then again, Repeal only slows us down a bit. It's a good bit, though. Oh, if they tap down to grow this Ballista, we can Tarfire it. That's even better than going at the face. Then again, they can Academy Ruins it back, so we're definitely not getting Delver of Secrets. That was an easy pick. Yep, shoot me twice. Serum Vision's very pivotal here for the Snap Traverse play, because Traverse is going to be on the stack when it checks Delirium, which means it will not be the sorcery in the bin. Let's draw Snapcaster Mage, and what are we going to get? We don't need all of these mountains, so let's start tapping those. Whatever it is, we can't cast it immediately if it's green, and I don't think the threat we want is named Delver of Secrets here, given that they can buy back that Walking Ballista with Academy Ruins. So, Goyf gets repealed very easily. Knuckleblade has haste, which is something I like a lot. Well, it has haste if we give it haste, but it theoretically has haste. I don't really want Mandrills. Knuckleblade is only a little harder to repeal than Goyf, but I like the haste. I like the haste a lot. Think we're going to pick Nux. On the other hand, Nux is easier to Walking Ballista, and they're already at 6 mana. Let's get a Tarmogoyf. We're not going to play out that land. It's at least something of a bluff. We can always play it next turn if we draw a land. That's the only way that missing the land drop is actually relevant. And I don't need the Steam Vents on the battlefield if we top deck a land. So we don't care in that case either. River of Tears, what would that do? Blue or black? Add blue to your mana pool. Oh, if you played a land, add black instead. Why are they playing that? Oh, maybe for Dismember. That's interesting. They didn't Ruins back the Walking Ballista, which I'm pretty surprised at. I probably would have. We're going to swing... Oh, Deprive. That's nice. We're going to play out this land because of Condescend. Although I imagine they have sufficient mana. Let's get in with Snapcaster Mage here. And we're going to have a post-combat Tarmogoyf with Deprive up. Hopefully we don't need to use that Deprive. Goyf resolved. If this is an end-step repeal, do we fight it? Oh, it's not a repeal. That is not Cyclonic Rift. That actually seems almost fine. Buys back Snapcaster Mage for us. We put Goyf back down. I don't know if I want to use my Deprive here. I'm going to let this happen. I'm much more interested in... Oh my god, Blood Moon. I forgot. Guys, I think I messed up. Oh, they couldn't use the Academy Ruins because of Blood Moon. Once again, kind of an idiot. Happens sometimes. Probably should have countered the Cyclonic Rift. Realizing that Blood Moon got bounced. Yes, LOL indeed. LOL indeed. Trinket Mage is going to get them an Expedition map, which is going to turn on Tron, which is obviously a very bad thing for us. We're still not going to deprive it, though. Although that does let them chump block a bit. Yes, it definitely happens. I think we've all been there. There's the Expedition map. They're going to cast it. They might get a Tron land right now, but I don't think I'm actually that scared of it. They had a lot of towers. We don't have anything we want to Snapcaster Mage back here. They are probably going to get Walking Ballista back, which is very annoying. Okay, Basic Mountain. What do we want to do here? Do we still have a Stomping Ground in the deck? We do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In case anyone was wondering, we run exactly 8 lands that are not fetches. So once we get that Stomping Ground, we will not be fetching anything out. We're going to play the Mountain because I want to have a lot of mana. Fetch plus Moon plus Goyf. We don't have to fetch yet, especially if we're going to cast the Blood Moon, because we don't have any more basics that are... We actually don't have any more basics. All 4 are out. So I kind of like not cracking that Misty. I do like Moon and Goyf, gotta say. Think we're going to start on Blood Moon, and we might have to deprive here. We are going to make sure... Actually, you know what? Should we cast Tarmogoyf before Blood Moon? Goyf before Blood Moon means we get to turn these red sources into green sources. No, that doesn't matter, because Goyf's our only green spell. Gonna start on Goyf. Notably, they have double blue here. Goyf resolved. Blood Moon is next. We're gonna make sure... I'm still bad at tapping. We want to make sure those islands are untouched for this Blood Moon. Alright, they're Academy Ruinsing the Ballista. That is okay. Can't stop that. Alright, Blood Moon is back. Snapcaster Mage is back in hand. It's like nothing happened except they got their Walking Ballista back and they played out a Trinket Mage and they now have an Expedition map. 7 mana, that's a lot of mana. 8 mana, what do we got? Is it good? Is it counterable is the better question. Oh, is it Walking Ballista? That's a big Ballista. Do we want to deprive that? I feel like we want to deprive that, but I'm not sure. We don't have Snap Deprive, which is very relevant. Blue is a real cost when you have 2 basic islands and a Blood Moon. We're going to counter this. We're never flashing back. We'll pick up Mountain. It doesn't matter. We are never flashing back that Deprive unless this Blood Moon temporarily goes away again. Would we lose the Tarmogoyf to letting Ballista resolve? Oh, you mean they'll just grow it big enough eventually with the ability? Because I don't think they run Death Touch equipment, but they might. Don't think they run Basilisk Collar. I know Tron does second Tarmogoyf. That's something I enjoy on a fundamental level. Might want to snap Visions here. Remove counters to ping Goyf. Yeah. For it would take them at least a couple turns, but yes, I don't like losing Tarmogoyf either. Also, if they're playing Walking Ballista, I'm going to assume that the reason they didn't cast a Wormcoil or Sundering Titan for a few turns was that they didn't have it. So I'm a lot happier to not keep that counter spell in hand. I want to play out Tarmogoyf. I think I want to snap Visions, because otherwise we're holding Snap to Tarfire, and we're not doing that until after the Goyfs do their job. Snapcaster Mage, target Visions. Serum Visions. I also want a cantrip before we play out Goyf. Second Moon, how good's that? The artifact isn't that relevant. We might want Second Moon, but I don't think we do. Mishra's Bauble at this point I think just slows us down. Very real that Bauble is not Gitaxian Probe. We got rid of the other sorcery, but that's probably fine. 6-7 is definitely better than 5-6. Yeah, I like bottoming the Moon too. Although I guess by this point you know that I enjoy bottoming that Blood Moon. What do we got? Cracking map it looks like. Oh, we could just yield priority. We don't need to be able to do stuff. What did we get? We got an island. They played the island. Let's get rid of these. Don't like them having double blue. I don't hate them having double blue. Do they have Rift Up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They do. This is probably a Cyclonic Rift then. That happens sometimes. I bottomed the Blood Moon, right? I clicked the right button. I think I did. I think I did. We are going to swing with the team. You know what? If that sorcery was still in the bin, this would be a lethal attack. Definitely relevant. The opponent is apparently thinking about stuff. We only have 6 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. I'm going to try to play a little faster. Apparently. Blood Moon is a good card in this matchup. The deck wanted to make sure we were aware of that. We're not going to play out Hooting Mandrills. I find it extremely unlikely that it's relevant that we have a Mandrills on board. And that probably doesn't accomplish much. We beat a Tron deck. Good job, guys. We did it. Congratulations, everybody. We lost to the first Tron, but we beat the second Tron. And you know what? That's what counts. That is what counts. I don't see a reason to not hop into the next league, so let's do that. I will pull up the deck again for anyone who wants to see it. Do we have anything relevant to talk about the list? I don't know if I like Vendilion Click against Tron. The problem I see with it is, for one, blue is a pain with Blood Moon. On the other hand, continuing on things that I don't like about Vendilion Click in the Tron matchups. Tron is full of bombs, so I would rather have a counterspell to deal with one than click it away, because they get to draw, so they're probably going to hit another bomb. And the fact that you have to time Vendilion Click to deal with their thing, which is annoying. Bauble does not flip Delver. If Gitaxian Probe was still legal in Modern, I would almost certainly be playing Gitaxian Probe. We're on the draw this time. Guess you can't be on the play in every match, but it'd be nice. Gitaxian Probe I like better than Mishra's Bauble, but I do still like Mishra's Bauble in the deck. For Goyf, like you said, also Traverse, free draw. It doesn't flip Delver, but if you time it right, you can Bauble on the opponent's end step, or at any point during their turn. Look at your top card. Speaking of Bauble, then on your turn, the game will ask you how you want to stack your triggers. We actually might want to Traverse here, but I kind of like holding up Spell Snare. A lot less relevant when they reveal a Cavern of Souls. Red-green Eldrazi, I want to say. Let's Traverse. Or should we? I know I want to cast this. I don't know if I want to Traverse. Yeah. Well, we're on the draw, but you mean Snare when they're on the play? Because I can kind of get behind that too. I also like the idea of holding on to Traverse when we have Sorcery, Instant Creature, Artifact, and Land ready to go into that graveyard. About the counter suite, I like my counter suite a good bit. Oh, Chalice. Does the red-green version run Chalice? I know E-Tron does. I don't believe Bant Eldrazi does, because Path, I think they run Denial out of the board. Relic is a big pain, but we're going to let that resolve because we can't counter that one. Back on the counter suite. Still can't counter 1 CMC spells with Spell Snare, unfortunately. If only, right? That would probably be too good. That would definitely be too good, but I would love it. Matter Reshaper for the opponent. I don't play Remand. We're gonna Bauble Scry here. Another fun thing about Bauble. Bauble Scry. Yes, we'll get rid of the Mishra's Bauble very grudgingly. Remand is better for decks that will kill you faster. We revealed Visions. Do I want Visions? I kind of don't. Remand is better for decks like Twin that know they're going to kill you on turn 4. I oftentimes don't kill until turn 5, 6, sometimes later. Another Spell Snare is awful. We probably slam Tarmogoyf, right? Not really anything better to do here. Even though that relic is going to make Goyf very small. And then tempo, to be honest. Still very much a tempo deck, but yeah, see, Temur is slower than, say... I know I already used Twin as an example, but even Blue-Red Delver were generally slower than. Pyromancer is a fairly quick clock, although we do have Tarmogoyf, so there's that. But I don't really... I haven't played Remand, but in theory, I've been happy with Mana Leak. Do they need to tap this? They don't. So even though we're going to take out their Matter Reshaper, they're still going to laugh at our Tarmogoyf. 2 damage there. We're probably going to cast Delver of Secrets post-combat. They get to reshape, which is terrible. Stomping Ground, that's going to enter the battlefield. My problem with Remand is say we remand a removal spell, and then they're going to untap and path our dude, which sucks. I very much don't like the opponent getting to untap and path my dudes. Remand is probably better against something like Tron, where in the late game, Mana Leak is awful. But then again, I like Mana Leak on turn 3 and 4 against Tron, because you can nab Karns and Ugins. So that's still something. We're going to play Delver. We are probably in terrible shape, because the opponent's still at 16 life, still has a Relic in play, and we have an untransformed Delver. But we're going to try. I very briefly played Legacy Delver, only ever proxied, because I do not have the cards. Bloodbraid's fun. Haven't played against Bloodbraid yet. Remand might be good because it's a true tempo card. Yeah, Remand is definitely better when you can more reliably kill quickly. Sometimes I kill on turn 4, and I think a league or two ago, I had a turn 3 win because the opponent had to dismember something, and I have a feeling I got through the dismember, probably not with a Simic Charm, but maybe with a Tarfire to grow the Tarmogoyf. I don't remember exactly how it went down. Did they get a Reality Smasher? They got a Reality Smasher. Okay, let's get rid of these cards. Yeah, that's fine. We're gonna take 3. Delver, please transform. Simic Charm. We didn't get the message saying it, but I'm gonna assume that is correct. Good assumption self. They don't have Relic mana, so I kind of like Tarfiring this Bloodbraid. Grow the Goyf temporarily and just get in. We're still holding up Spell Snare, but that's not very relevant right now. Yes, Temur's big problem is its removal is not good. Vapor Snag bounces things. It also causes the opponent to lose life. Sometimes it causes us to lose life if we try to save a creature with it, which is definitely unfortunate. Temur is very good at killing things with 3 or less toughness, because we very much like our lightning bolts. Blue-red, also probably in the same boat. I think we're a little better against fatties just because blue-red, unless they're running Thing in the Ice, doesn't have really anything that contends with them, whereas a Tarmogoyf can stare down some fatties decently enough. Thought-Knot, yup. Thought-Knot holding up Relic of Progenitus I like a lot. Take Simic Charm, that's fair. I guess they don't want us to bounce the Thought-Knot and draw a card. I don't really like the opponent not taking... they have plenty of sorceries, so we're going to drop this Forked Bolt. If they want to deal with Tarmogoyf, we're going to make them. Alright, Steam Vents. That means we can Bolt and Traverse. I think I'd rather have the life, though. Now, if they pop this Relic, we can take out Thought-Knot using Lightning Bolt and Tarmogoyf, but I think I would rather just hit them with an Insectile Aberration. Although they might choose to Bolt it here. I don't know if they're running Lightning Bolt. Fantastic. Bolt and one hit from the aberration will do it. There's the cycling. Yes. At least we don't have to click through that part. That's nice. O1 Tarmogoyf looks really bad against Reality Smasher, but you know what? Chump blocks Thought-Knot Seer for days. And they know about Lightning Bolt, so they are currently dead on board. So let's let the opponent figure out how they're going to survive. Haven't played against Red-Green Eldrazi, I think, since just after Eldrazi Temple got banned. I'm going to see if MTG Goldfish has a good representation of lists, because I really don't know what they're doing these days. I'm already in the 2 decks per archetype section of MTG Goldfish, so whatever we find is not going to be even close to statistically accurate. So let's just ignore that. The opponent decided to do something. Uncounterable Elf. Here comes Bloodbraid. Sure. Maybe they're trying to cascade into a Lightning Bolt? It is a Talisman, sure. And they scooped. Fantastic. One Red-Green Eldrazi streaming at the GB before, obviously with it. Yes, because the events were not updated with the new ban list. Against Eldrazi decks, usually I do something like Huntmaster. Recently, I added in Collar, and that's definitely coming in. I don't know if Red-Green plays Chalice. Anyone have a lot of knowledge with Red-Green Eldrazi as to whether or not they play Chalice of the Void? Also, if anyone has ideas on sideboarding, feel free to send them over my way. I want these. I don't think I want EE. I actually don't even like EE very much against Tron, so I don't think I'm going to bring it in here. Anger. Roast seems good. Roast I like against Eldrazi, although I prefer Dismember against Eldrazi. Roast's still good. V-Click I could see coming in. Don't want Deprive. Given that they showed us Cavern of Souls, and I think it's pretty safe to say that they're running 4, Artifact Destruction now coming in, I'm going to say that counters are going to be bad. We saw the Talisman. Yeah, that's fair. That makes the Mana Denial plan a bit better. So we're bringing in probably 10 cards, maybe V-Click. Let's put V-Click here. Actually, I'd rather have it on the side here, so we don't accidentally keep it. Curator I kind of like because flying. Nux I like a lot against Eldrazi because it can stack up against things like Reality Smasher, Thought-Knot Seer once you spend the 3 mana to grow it. Mandrills I usually cut 1 or 2 of because it's notably a lot worse against Eldrazi. Let's drop the Mana Leaks entirely. The snares are also going to go. And that leaves us with Stubborn Denial, which we might want a bit of. I don't love the idea of having bolts for Bloodbraid Elf, but I also don't hate the idea of having Lightning Bolt effects in my deck. Maybe we just board out 1 Forked Bolt. Usually if I'm boarding out bolt effects, Forked Bolt is the first one to go. This has the card type I like. This does an extra point of damage. Don't really want to cut Snapcaster Mage. We might cut some Thought Scours, because we're looking to get kind of grindy here. Looks like V-Click is not going to make its way in. Maybe 1 Denial, 2 Scour? Something like that. We have roughly 30 seconds left. Do you think I should board out the last Scour? At least 1, yeah. Yeah, I also like taking out a minimum of 1. I think I'm going to lean towards 2, just because that conveniently lets us use this configuration. I don't love boarding out all of them unless we're up against an aggro or very interactive deck, because it is very good at helping us fill up the graveyard, which aggro and interactive decks allow us to do very easily, just by the nature of them. We have, with Traverse, we have Blood Moon mana. We don't have a clock, though. We have 2 visions. We're going to run it. They're on the play. We very well may get Thought Knotted. But you know what? We are going to do our thing regardlessly. I think I want to grab a basic island and cast a Serum Visions here. Although I definitely see the argument to going basic forest, traverse out an island, just to get things out of the way. But I also kind of like saving this, because we're not far from Delirium here. We might end up casting the Traverse next turn to get a basic mountain. Oh yeah, that works for Relic as well. And we hit Threats for Days. We have 3 lands, a Traverse, and a Bauble, so I think we want both of these. Top Huntmaster, top Goyf. We can use the Bauble to draw both. Don't know if I actually want to do that because of Thought-Knot Seer, but we very well may want to do that regardlessly. I think I like turn 2 Goyf a little bit better. Let's just see what they're going to draw here. A little better than turn 3 Blood Moon. So we're not going to traverse out our stuff yet. We will grab a basic forest though. I find against Relic, I usually do a little bit of a dance with them. They're totally bluffing, at the very least, that they have a Relic, so I'm going to take this. I do not want to get Relicked here and lose my Tarmogoyf. Eldrazi Obligator. They cannot pay it, so that target isn't doing anything. Okay, cool. We can't roast yet. I think we're going to traverse out our mountain, and then whichever of these two that they thought not away, we're going to cast the other. I want to swing with Goyf, although I don't love how the race is going yet. I think we're going to start with Get Red Source, and then cast a Serum Visions. I think I like that. On the other hand, we could roast one of these, but our hand is also kind of somewhat stacked as far as Thought-Knot targets go. Second Blood Moon and more lands. Don't think we want the lands. We can play the Breeding Pool tapped, which doesn't matter if we go Blood Moon next turn. Do I want to attack here? I didn't block last turn, so I might not block this turn, but blocking this is a lot better than blocking this. I'm going to wait. We are not the beatdown currently. I think we're better off playing a longer game, hoping Blood Moon does enough work to cut them off of a lot of draws, and then we slam Huntmaster, we slam Roast, we snap Roast, and the quality of our bombs probably carries us through the rest of this. Yes, the Lightning Bolt, thank you. Are we willing to trade Lightning Bolt to block? Sorry, trade Goyf to block? Because I think if it's Bolt and not Relic, I kind of like the idea of blocking the Eldrazi Obligator and letting them bolt away our Goyf. Because otherwise, there's the Relic. That's unfortunate. Now I don't want to block. Suddenly, I feel like blocking is not a good thing, but then if we do that, like I was saying, we're going to take a lot of damage. This is 6, Bolt makes 9, that puts us at effectively 6, and that's pretty low. We could block, we stem the bleeding a little bit. What do you guys think? Do we block? I'm thinking we block this if we block. I kind of like the idea of keeping Tarmogoyf. But if we survive long enough, Blood Moon is going to be really good. And then we Huntmaster, and then their attacks are bad. I'm going to block. Do I block? Shank Ranukin, if that's how you pronounce it, says block, so I'm going to listen to that person. pretty easy to get convinced by people when you're that hard on the fence. Grove of the Burn Willows, and now I think I'm almost certainly slamming Blood Moon. Oh, we can't cast Mandrills. So close. If we had Moon plus Mandrills, I probably would have been the happiest person on this planet. As is, it's just Blood Moon. We want to cut them off of their mana. We're going to take 6, then 3 from this. But we're going to come back hard. If they have another one of these and another land, we're dead. But we're going to hope that doesn't happen. And we're also going to bluff that we have a Lightning Bolt in hand. So let's do all that. I want to slam Blood Moon right now, because their draws are better than our draws. If they have another Bolt, we're dead. But that was probably the case anyways. We cast Huntmaster, they Bolt Huntmaster. They swing, we take 3, we trade with the Wolf. Second Obligator, yep, we're dead. That happens. We will take 9, and we will go to game 3. On the other hand, we're on the play now, which is a plus. The green-red Eldrazi deck, a lot more aggressive than most Eldrazi decks, and I kind of like it, especially given that they have Bloodbraid. Do we want sweepers? Does Matter Reshaper say die or leave the battlefield? Because I'm pretty sure Matter Reshaper says die. It says dies. What do you guys think of Anger of the Gods? Hits Obligator and Reshaper and Bloodbraid, but it does nothing to the bigger Eldrazi, which I don't really like. If we bring in Anger, what are we taking out? I think I'm going to cut this Curator now that I think about it. Given that it's double blue, I don't really like that. Yeah, they do seem to run a lot of low toughness. I don't want to go so far as to run Pyroclasm, but I could very well live with this. I think I'm going to board it in, just because we're generally good at card filtering, and hopefully it won't be so bad as a dead card. I think we're going to run this. I kind of want to cut an Artifact Hate card, just because we didn't see any artifacts. But I also feel like if I do that, they're going to have artifacts, and I'm going to get punished, so I should just not be biased and run them anyways. I'm going to run this. We're going to see how this goes. We're on the play, absolutely. Never wanted to be on the draw, and we're going to keep. Don't think we want to bolt anything on turn 1, so I might just lead on Breeding Pool tapped. I kind of like that. Kind of like that a lot. The opponent kept. Let's do that. Head over to them. And, okay, Blood Moon. Alright. Now, remember how earlier in this league we were discussing how sometimes against Tron, I kind of don't want to slam Tarmogoyf, now that I think about it. This dies to Lightning Bolt. I shouldn't have fetched there, that was bad. I also don't want to pass the turn, though. Would have been pretty happy to play this and then have Lightning Bolt up. Chances are they have a Blood Moon in hand, but then that makes the second Goyf better. Do we play the Tarmogoyf knowing that we totally messed up? Yeah, we do. I care about the tempo. I'm going to make them do it. They were also pretty aggressive last game, so if we can slow them down a little bit by doing this, I'm not ecstatic about it, but it's maybe something. Fetching there was definitely a misplay. Once we do fetch there, I kind of like playing out the Tarmogoyf. Just because we didn't have Bolt up to deal with whatever 3-drop they play here. Because I probably would have bolted this Reshaper. Now I think we're not going to go Blood Moon. We probably just want to go Goyf here, because Blood Mooning, like I was saying, against Tron. Sometimes it is great to Blood Moon both of us. When we don't have a board, it's probably really bad. They're swinging here, and I think we're just going to bolt that. That's as good a bolt target as any. And we may as well not lose Goyf to a Relic of Progenitus, so they're going to reshape. It's a Bloodbraid Elf. That's not coming down yet, so that's a pro. If we top deck a Forest, we're going to slam Blood Moon. There is a Talisman. Okay. So, we either Blood Moon or Goyf plus Revelry, and I have to say I'm partial to Goyf plus Revelry. I'm all about that tempo. We are going to fetch here. I want to blow this up right away because it's going to make this Goyf a 4/5. We're going to fetch out a green source. All of that flies. Green, red. Want to make sure I don't cut myself off of Tarmogoyf by doing this. Talisman goes down. Land already in the bin, so we're just going to swing with Goyf. Get in for 4, play a second Goyf, and they might Thought Knot our Moon. But if they do that, well, we might just be able to 4/5 Goyf it all the way home. We know they have Bloodbraid in hand. They're drawing another card because Matter Reshaper is great. There's a Reality Smasher, and I'm almost less scared of that than a Thought Knot Seer. And we get to cantrip first? Basilisk Collar? Oh my lord. Alright, Ancient Grudge, going to go to the bottom. Simic Charm, going on top. And this is a Blood Moon. Oh hey, Sorcery. Look at that. Just in case anyone thought Tarmogoyf wasn't the bee's knees, it is. Hazaret, that's cool. We did it. Good job, guys. Beat Eldrazi. What are soul lands? Nobody needs soul lands. Blood Moon's great. Kind of really sad we didn't get to play the Basilisk Collar. Although I'm pretty sure I would have held up Simic Charm for next turn anyways. If these were still 4/5s, we would not have attacked. We would have waited for the Simic Charm so we could blow out their Reality Smasher. And then we would Basilisk Collar it to just seal the game. Lifelink, Death Touch obviously great against decks with Eldrazi-sized fatties. Lifelink, very good when you're racing. We are going to go into another one. We're 2-1 currently. Look at us go. Knock on wood. Because I don't want to go 2-3. Let's head back to the deck. Here is the list. Okay, well, we're in a match, so that was the list. I think I'm going to paste the deck list into the chat again, just in case anyone wants to see it, because I do not know how to do the fancy schmancy commands. Are we on the play? We are. We're going to keep. Delver into Mana Leak with Bolt Up is something I like. I do not know how to do the exclamation mark deck list thing and then the deck list shows up. I should probably Google that. Didn't think of it before trying to stream, so we'll get on that for next time, which is probably going to be later this week because Reading Week is great. Misty Rainforest. What do we got, Delver? Flooded Strand, not going to get revealed, might get played. Double red looking better than double green because of this Knuckle Blade. So I kind of like the idea of playing this out and then getting a Steam Vents if we want it. If the opponent forces us to Simic Charm, we might just grab a Breeding Pool. On the other hand, that might just be completely unnecessary. If they try to take out Delver, do we Simic Charm here? Lets them resolve their 2-drop. Breeding Pool. Alright. I can respect a deck that is blue and green. Gemstone Mine. Amulet Titan? Glittering Wish. That makes me want to counter it. I don't think Bring to Light Scapeshift runs Gemstone Mine. Anyone with good ideas on what we're playing against, feel free to mention it. I'm pretty sure I want to counter this because I don't want them getting whatever they want to get. So let's grab ourselves a Steam Vents. I don't like blowing the Mana Leak if we're up against a combo deck. That is definitely something. Mana Leak, very good against combo decks. Unless they're Scapeshift and have 7 lands in play. Then Mana Leak is very bad. Forked Bolt, love it. It's a 3-2. We're going to pay Shock here. We're going to get in for 3. And I kind of want to Forked Bolt them in the face. We're going to use the Steam Vents so that we can keep Simic Charm up just in case. Who knows, we might even end up bolting them here. I don't really want to slam Nux because I have no idea what we're up against. Could just be a rogue deck. I mean, I'm playing Temur Delver. I don't expect everyone to play tier 1 decks. Here's a second Glittering Wish. That one's going to resolve. What's going on, opponent? Jeskai Ascendancy combo. If the opponent... We may or may not want to bolt them. If the opponent is relying on something like Birds of Paradise or Noble Hierarch, yeah, no one in the right mind expects Delver, myself included. When I come up against a Delver deck, it's a party. We all have a good time. If they're relying on a traditional Mana Dork to combo off, we're going to want to bolt that Mana Dork dead. If they are relying on Sylvan Caryatid to combo off, I'm going to wish I bolted them here. Yeah, one thing I enjoy about playing Delver is the rogue deck equity you get. Are we going to bolt them? We have Simic Charm, but that means we're not playing Knuckleblade, but if we want to hold up either of these, we're not playing Knuckleblade anyways. Let's get in. Misty. Well, we were slightly punished for playing out the bolt. I don't want to slam Nux with haste yet, because the opponent can't yet kill... Well, can they kill us? We can't kill them, which is a reason I don't like it. That looks like an Ascendancy. It is an Ascendancy. Yeah, people often do not know how to play against Delver. This is very true. Do we fetch here? Thinning the deck is relevant. We almost certainly want to get that land. I think it's a forest. Don't think we need triple blue. Cantrip, Snap Leak could be a thing. Let's get a Breeding Pool tapped. We don't need basics. Yes, they need a creature, but I'm thinking about how we're going to handle that when the creature tries to come down. I think what we're going to do is not go for the kill, because I want to be a little more conservative, although I could be entirely wrong. I don't know if they run Path, and I don't want to get totally blown out by it. So I think I'd rather not slam Knuckleblade and tap out. Feels like a bad idea to me. I could be totally wrong. It's been a long time since I played against Ascendancy. Is that a Caryatid? Because I'm going to snare that really hard. It's a Mana Morphos. Are we going to let that resolve? They are going to loot. And their non-existent creatures are going to get +1/+1. If we snare this, we're in a good spot against anything that is not Caryatid. You know what? I'm going to let this resolve. Because Caryatid is probably the only thing that scares me even a little bit. We can Simic Charm the others, although they might be packing Remands. That's something to be at least somewhat concerned about. It's entirely possible we should have just gone for the kill on the previous turn with Knuckleblade. Another Mana Morphos. We let the first one resolve. We're probably letting the second resolve. I don't like the opponent going through their deck this much. But it also means they have fewer Mana Morphoses in play for when they're trying to combo off on us. They discarded a Caryatid. That's probably really telling. Yeah, I know Nux could have been lethal, but I'm a bit of a coward, I guess. I don't like the idea of tapping out against a combo deck when I'm not sure what that combo deck plays. Sleight of hand probably still fine. They're churning through their deck, but they're not actually doing anything. Unless they're Ascendancy Storm. But I don't think Ascendancy runs Grape Shot in any number. Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair. Another Manamorphose, sure. Lots of Manamorphoses. Well, yeah, but in that case, they only had the one land untapped and it was our turn. So if they did have removal, it wasn't really going to disrupt them from comboing off. It was just, if we play Knuckleblade, they're either losing or they're not losing. And if they don't lose, they might win here. And I don't like the idea of tapping out against combo either. If it's a deck where I know what kind of interaction they run, I'm a lot happier to do such a thing. For example, against Storm, the only thing you really need to worry about is bounce, bolts. Against Jeskai Ascendancy, I don't know what they're playing. I knew about Fate Stitcher, which taps and untaps stuff. I know they run a lot of cantrips. They might go for a... is it Sea Beyond? Fate Stitcher's gonna come back, sure. Whatever they put on the stack here, Fate Stitcher's getting bounced. Return target creature. That one. Let's use this green source and this blue source. Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think I may very well have made a misplay there, but then there's the path, so who knows? How funny is that? That just happened. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, they're gonna untap Fate Stitcher with that. And that's bad. Which means maybe we should have gone for it anyways. But I think if we went for it there, we're dead. Maybe we should have just snared a Manamorphose. Caryatid doesn't have haste. Does this give creatures haste? It doesn't. I think snaring the first Manamorphose might have been the right thing. On the bright side, they might miss on instants. Against Storm, I am a huge fan of snaring Manamorphose because it basically turns off. If the Storm opponent goes turn 2 Manamorphose and you snare it, their turn 2's over. It's like a 1-mana Time Walk, which is amazing. I would do that pretty much every time, I think. Against a deck where they have a lot more mana untapped, though, I'm a little more hesitant. That may very well be wrong, though. I would love to get a land. It's going to be a blue source because... well, we may as well have a lot of blue sources. And I'm going to hope Swan Song. Okay, yeah, we're probably dead. They might not have the kill, but we're probably dead. It's very unfortunate that we have to sit through this now. I apologize to anyone who didn't want to watch Jeskai Ascendancy combo off. But it seems that's what we're doing today. We may as well at least make them play it out until they have lethal. And we do have a bird to block, so they're going to need something to deal with that as well. Looks like we definitely should have slammed it. Alright. I temporarily muted the mic because it's hot in my room and I wanted to put on shorts. Is audio back? I'm assuming audio's back, but you guys are probably the best people to check that with. 2 mana. We might have something to snare here. Could it be? Is it time? Did not hitting the 6 key on the keyboard pay off? It's a Noxious Revival. Not yet. No snare target yet, but one day. They are buying back Manamorphose. That's pretty good. Oh, we can counter that. There you go. Full circle, 100%. Everything comes back to this moment. Glittering Wish. Well, we'll counter that then. Something's getting countered. That land. Make them fear the bolt that they probably don't fear whatsoever. Definitely want to snare before they get to loot in case they find a 1-mana counter spell. They are going to loot. Hopefully they can't continue. I forgot. Untap stuff. Alright. We are still going. Grape Shot. There we go. Turns out they have Grape Shot. We are not going to make anybody do any more clicking than that. Let's head to the sideboard and fight a combo deck. This kills Jeskai Ascendancy for 2 mana. This does it for 5 split over a couple of turns, but I still don't like it very much. Think that's a little expensive. Blood Moon actually could be good, but I don't like the idea of going so aggressive on sorceries of that sort. I like the disruption that we have here. Sweepers might actually be good, but these are sorcery speed sweepers, and I'm thinking those aren't going to be that great. We also have Blood Moon. Basilisk Collar could gain us a lot of life, but I also don't think that's very good. I don't run Dispel in the sideboard because I have 3 Stubborn Denials, which usually take up the same kind of space post board. Explosives does kill Mana Dorks too. Maybe that's worth it. We did go to, what, turn 4 or 5 there? It could be worth playing Explosives. Spreading Seas probably isn't close to good enough. Artifact Hate seems awful. Don't want Roast. Huntmaster's too slow against combo decks. So we're looking at these 4, maybe these 6. Any other ideas, folks? What are we going to take out? Dismember, I actually don't like. Or do I? Forces them to deal with it, which I do like. Then again, they can try to go over our removal spell like they did in that previous game. Really, I think the counter spells are going to be the most important thing here. Let's bring this up a bit because Traverse is currently invisible. I'm thinking Blood Moon too, but I really don't want the opponent to A, watch us tap out on turn 3 and then kill us, and then B, they have Manamorphose, which could make that pretty bad. Maybe a couple. They're not running interaction with Blood Moon against decks that don't interact with Blood Moon, unless I guess they try to Swan Song it. I don't usually run the full 3, because Blood Moon is a very redundant card. We'll think about 2. What else are we going to cut? Not a Clock. I can live with dropping Curator. Maybe even a Traverse. I sometimes do against non-mid-range decks when I'm just low on stuff to cut. Vapor Snag is probably about as good as Dismember. Spell Snare looks good. All our cards are good. It's a Hard Knocks Life. We're not bringing these in. Our cards are too good. We don't have things to cut. Maybe Dismember. I could live with that. Not happily, but I can live with it. One more card. What's it going to be? Not Spell Snare, not Denial. I don't want to cut a Scour. Sorcery Speed Bolt. It's going to be Sorcery Speed Bolt. Let's submit. Hopefully we come back a bit stronger than we did there. Snap Keep. Ain't no doubt in my mind. We are going to grab ourselves a Breeding Pool, cast Serum Visions, play a Mishra's Bauble, and we are going to do our thing. Let's see if we can find some counter spells. Probably for turn 3, because turn 2 sounds like it's going to be Slam Goyf. Simic Charm's not a counterspell. Revelry deals with their win con, and I like that. I like that a lot. Head to the opponent. Goyf's also going to be a big fat fatty. Birds, yep. Let's take a look at what they have. It's a sleight of hand. That's hopefully fine. We're going to draw Revelry plus Mystery card. Mystery card is Tarfire. Are we willing to not play Tarmogoyf? Honestly, I think the answer is no. We slam Tarmogoyf on this turn. Next turn, if they slam Jeskai Ascendancy, we get to go Revelry plus Tarfire, because we'll get a second red source with this Foothills. Thoughts? Slam the clock immediately? Either way, we're doing this. I think it's slam the clock immediately. If they use a Phyrexian spell, they can untap that bird. But I'm still in the mood for slam the clock immediately. Well, they don't have the Ascendancy yet. If they did, they would probably be slamming their own threat there. Then again, maybe they're waiting to hit more land drops so they could go over the top of things like Revelry. Could be. Or they're just missing land drops. We're gonna Tarfire the bird and then Mana Leak. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Actually, do we slam the second Goyf instead of Mana Leak? I'm feeling slam it. Their turn 2 plays aren't very scary. I'm pretty sure the correct answer is slam it. Massive clock indeed. And then Revelry for lethal if they manage to get an Ascendancy down. I don't think we need any more green, so I'm just going to get this because we're already at 14. And I want to be at least somewhat conservative with that life total. Not a lot better than having 2, 6, 7 Goyfs. That's a scoop. Having 2, 6, 7, 8 Goyfs, definitely better. That I will concede. I'm pretty sure we run this back, but I kind of want this Forked Bolt, realizing that turn 1 Mana Dork is a good play for them. Honestly, I kind of want this Dismember too, but I want it a lot less. EE is worse on the draw. I could see cutting that. Not nearly as good against Mana Dorks as Dismember and Forked Bolt. Maybe we just cut this Traverse, but that's kind of very greedy on our part. We have 17 lands, a bunch of cantrips, but Traverse is very nice for hitting those land drops. I don't want to cut Scour. I want to have the velocity of... I don't have a metaphor for that. I want to be fast, and I want to be furious. I'm going to cut the EE. I think I can live with that. We have a lot of answers to Jeskai Ascendancy in the form of counterspells and Revelry if it happens to resolve. So I think I like not relying on something so expensive. Are we in match 4? I haven't updated the OBS thing yet. We're in match 4, right? 2 Tron Eldrazi. I'm terrible. Record 2-1. There we go. That's better. Let's bring Chrome back up. How are we going to get this Dismember? I still don't like the sweepers. Don't want to be going for Pyroclasm here. If I had Kozilek's Return in the board, which I did at one point for Affinity because it hits manlands on their turn, and Etched Champion, which is the biggest pain anyone could ever conceive for an interactive deck to play against. I would probably board in Kozilek's Return, even though it's a bit slow, because it does hit Mana Dorks on their turn. But you know what? That's still probably not good enough, because it's 3 mana. And going for a 3 mana deal with your thing on the opponent's turn, probably not very good. Also doesn't kill Caryatid, which is relevant. We have 15 creatures currently. I don't want to cut a Snapcaster Mage. That's not going anywhere. Simic Charm could go. but I am a pretty big fan of Simic Charm. Simic Charm is probably being used for the Dismember mode, so you know what? I'm gonna do it. Anyone think this is a bad idea? We have 30 seconds left for you guys to catch up due to the Twitch, I want to call it delay. I don't want to use the term lag, that's probably incorrect. 20 seconds, what does everybody think? Any ideas? If not, then I guess just feel free to not respond, because within 10 seconds, I'm gonna click submit. Simic feels dead. Let's do it. That is more than enough for me. We are probably on the draw, and that's why I kept Traverse the Ulvenwald. Hands like this. Do we want to keep this, actually? This could very well be a mulligan. This hand is quite slow, and has 2 Snapcaster Mages, which might not be very good. 1 card in the bin, 2 cards in the bin, 3 cards in the bin. 4th land. Sorry, 2nd land automatically hit because of the Traverse. Vapor Snag might not be very good. I'm going to mulligan this. I like this hand much more. Island on top. I'm going to say no. Solely because I want a burn spell so I can deal with the Birds of Paradise. Hopefully also deal with a Fate Stitcher, but maybe not. Might not be able to do that. I like seeing Sleight of Hand on turn 1 because it means they won't have 3 mana on turn 2, which is great. We hit an island, not an island, we hit a land anyways. Bauble we're going to use to try to do... Who needs a bot? I have not set that up yet because I didn't think about it before I started streaming. So maybe next time we will have a thing for that. Pretty sure we want to fetch here. We're going to do the Bauble Delver Scry trick. And I also think I want to Steam Vents. Also, you're welcome. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it, although it is on the announcements section for the Twitch channel, I think, which I imagine 0% of people actually go to read. So, anybody who has to leave at any point but wants to catch the rest of the matches, I have a YouTube channel which this will end up being on, and if you want to see more Temur Delver gameplay, feel free to go there. It's MNES MTG, basically the same as this. Instead of an underscore, it's the space. But if you search it, it works anyways. That's MNES MTG. I clicked the wrong person. I'm a scrub. I am a scrub of the highest caliber. We're going to put Bauble on the stack first. Let's pretend we saw an instant or sorcery on top of the deck. It was not. We won't reveal it. I messed up. Sorry, guys. That was a punt. Specifically, if this was an instant or sorcery, which it was, we would have seen Delver, drawn Delver, Delver would have seen Thought Scour, and we all would have had a good time. I'm going to start off with Visions here, just in case we hit a burn spell. We did not. I also don't think we want to hold out for Mandrills, so we're going to play this. The nice thing about this situation is that we have Thought Scour in hand, which means we can Thought Scour Delver Scry. So, non-zero amount of redemption. The opponent should be at 11 right now. We're going to find out if we would have won had I not sucked. We know they have a Fate Stitcher, though, thanks to that Bauble screw-up. It's a Forest. We're going to get rid of that. Don't really want to draw Forest. Revelry would be nice. Another Delver, not the worst. Second Delver sees Lightning Bolt. Okay, I know I should show them that card, but part of me really does not want to, so I can try to surprise them. I'm going to do it anyways. I'd rather have the clock. I want to cast this Delver of Secrets. I also want to get in for 4, and I want to hold up Lightning Bolt. So how are we going to do all of this? On the bright side, we're not in Fate Stitcher range yet. They've been a bit slow this game. We're going to grab a blue source, and I have a feeling it's going to be with this. Might want to get a green source so that we have Traverse online. But you know what? If we Traverse for anything, it's a Snapcaster Mage, so we can Traverse Snap Bolt, which, by the way, is really fun, in case none of you have done it before. So let's just present Lethal and see what they do. Slam it, if you will. I believe we have someone in the chat who enjoys Slam it, and I have to say I agree. Gemstone Mine for the opponent. Can we take this game? Hopefully. 3 mana. Is it another Ascendancy? It looks like it. It is. If the opponent does not play a Mana Dork here, we are going to bolt their face so that we can Traverse Snap Bolt next turn. Fate Stitcher comes on by. We're going to have to kill that. Oh, they looted it into the graveyard. That's so smart. Somehow, that didn't even occur to me. We're going to kill this. And hopefully they're not going to win. If they do win anyways, I'm going to be a sad person. Path? Just Path? It's just Path. I think it's just Path. It's just Path. There are a lot of triggers that get in the way of that. Makes reading very difficult. Alright, so that Delver's gone. Can we just not have priority? We already don't have priority. It doesn't matter. This is all the opponent. Yeah, we'll grab a mountain. Only basic left. May as well. Alright, if the Delvers transform, we have game. If I didn't screw up the bauble, they would be at 7. Fate Stitcher is realizing that it needs to be exiled if it's still here. What do we got, Delver? It's a Spell Snare. I think we're going to do it, folks. I dare say we are going to do it. The opponent's tapped out. I don't think they're doing anything that's going to screw this up. Let's get in for 6. We actually have Traverse, Snap, Bolt, Snare, which is the next level of great, awesome stuff. Slamming and being aggressive, I find it also does, but at certain points you have to know when to not slam. For example, something I actually touched on the other day, the last league I played, when I went up against a bunch of Tron decks. I don't like holding up Mana Leak on turn 2. Yeah, they saw it. I hit return to... Did they scoop the match? That was this person, right? We lost the first one, right? It says 2-1. When did we win? Oh, the 2 Goyfs. The 2 Goyfs. When we had the 2 Goyfs in play, I totally forgot that we had already won a game. Look at that. Let's head back to OBS and fix that header. We officially got our next league free, courtesy of doing sufficiently well. So that's great. 3-1. I am always happy to 3-1. 4-1's better. Haven't 5-0'd yet, but maybe one day. Anyways, against Tron, I don't like holding up Mana Leak on turn 2 instead of slamming, say, a Goyf. Even if we're on the draw, because let's say we hold up Mana Leak, and then the opponent does something that we can't Mana Leak. And then the next turn, do we play the Tarmogoyf or do we hold up Mana Leak? We still have the Leak in hand. We didn't get that paid off. We still have Goyf in hand. We're doing a lot of nothing. So I find if you hold up Mana Leak too early, you end up holding up Mana Leak for too long if they play around it, and then you're stuck letting the opponent just make land drops, and we're not going to win that kind of long game against a lot of decks. So I don't like doing that. I like slamming the Goyf. Now, I did actually contradict myself in I think the very next match of that league against Tron again, where I did decide to hold up Mana Leak on turn 2. I think I was on the draw, and I knew they would have Tron for turn 3, so I wanted to counter their first threat and then start to do stuff. I guess it's a little bit better against Tron because usually they're playing out big things. Against a deck like, say, Jund, I'd be a little more hesitant. I'm not sure, though. If you're holding up Mana Leak against Jund on the draw, though, I kind of like it because Liliana is really good. And if you can play around Liliana with this deck, you should. Anyways, absolutely. Decisions just everywhere. Let's head into the last match. I probably monologued enough for now. We'll get into it maybe again later. Let's go back to the deck. This is the deck. It's a nice deck. I like it a lot. Anyone have questions about the deck? Because I can't think of that much to talk about at the moment. Other than the fact that I haven't played at all. I don't think I've resolved a Basilisk Collar in a competitive league, since this is the first one that I had Collar in the board with, but I played probably 10 matches in which it ended up getting boarded in the tournament practice room, and I really like lifelink on Basilisk, on our threats. It's great. Death Touch, also good. Death Touch on Mandrills. People forget all the time that Mandrills has trample because people don't usually see the card. When you throw Death Touch in the mix, it's just fantastic. Lifelink on pretty much any of our threats gives us a much easier time racing, and as a tempo deck, we often do want to race. Even though against a lot of aggro decks we cannot. We're on the play again. I want to say that was 4 out of 5 matches, but it might have just been 3. We are going to keep, because Vision's Goyf. At least one of these bolts should do something, so that's nice. I could see it in blue-red as well. Another fun thing you can do, I don't know if you're running Grim Lavamancer in your blue-red list, but I had Collar on Huntmaster at one point against Mardu Pyromancer, and Huntmaster transformed, and then their Reveler just was annihilated. It was great. I want to fetch here to make Serum Visions good. We definitely want to cast Visions to make that Goyf bolt-proof. Speaking of, do I want both of these? I very well might. These are both great cards. We're not going to be casting 2 spells for a little while, but I like it a lot. I like what we have on top there. Those are all cards that I enjoy having. Speaking of Collar against... Ooh, it's Burn. That's a fun time. Not fun that we're going to fetch Shock, but fun nonetheless. We are going to play out Goyf, because it's a good blocker. Speaking of Collar versus Mardu Pyromancer, if you don't have a threat on board, it's terrible, but in that one match that I played against them with it, I had a 7-8 Tarmogoyf, and they had a bunch of Lingering Souls tokens, and I had probably 2 turns left to live, top-decked the Collar, put it on my Tarmogoyf, attacked, and we made it out okay. That's when later Huntmaster came down. Collar ended up on the Huntmaster so it would transform, and it was a good time. Here's a Boros Charm. We're going to take some damage. We have a Mana Leak on top, so that's something. Now, I think we're going to go Delver Bolt, because I want to clock the opponent. We're playing against Boros Burn here, probably not the 3-color Burn, but clocking Burn is very important, because Burn plays probably, let's say, 20 spells that just say, deal 3 to 4 to your opponent off the top of their deck. And if the game goes long enough, well, we're gonna die. And quite frankly, I don't want to die. So, against Burn, we have to play this very interesting balance, where we're not the beatdown early on, but we become the beatdown in the mid-game. Unless you just have an absurd start and then you're the beatdown from the beginning. I want to bolt this Swift Spear. And I think I'd rather play Delver than hold up Thought Scour. I should have bolted beforehand. Forgot about Creature. That's a misplay. Lava Spike, yup. We're not dead yet, which is nice. Sooner or later, we are going to die. Reveal that. We're not going to cast it. We're also not going to cast that second Tarmogoyf. We have lethal if we end up bolting them, which is nice. We also might just die to a bunch of 1-mana burn spells. That's probably the most common way that I lose to burn. Turn 1 Goblin Guide. Maybe turn 2, another Goblin Guide, a bolt. Turn 3, Lava Spike, Lava Spike, Lava Spike. It's a bad time. Skullcrack only deals 3, so I think I'm going to let that resolve. There are better things that we can leak. On the other hand, totally debatable that we should have just snapped off this mana leak at our earliest convenience so that we could bolt after we untap. So I think once the Lava Spike comes down, we're going to go for it. If they have Boros Charm, we're dead. But what are you going to do? Is it Boros Charm? It's Lightning Helix. That's pretty good. Vapor Snag, not going to do much. Sorceries are already in the bin. Goyf hitting twice and then Bolt is already lethal. We could Visions here. I think we want to Vision, see if we hit a Stubborn Denial. We didn't. We're going to bottom both of these because they're not that relevant. We're going to swing. If they hit a creature, we're probably going to Bolt it. If they don't hit a creature, we probably want to Bolt face. If they hit a Boros Charm or just have 2 burn spells, we are in fact dead. Are we dead? Looks like it. Yep, that'll do. Alright, sometimes that happens against Burn. I do find Burn to be a favorable matchup. I never tried Collar against them yet because I haven't played against Burn since I put it in. But let's see if we can have some fun. I want Deprive. Little mana intensive, but you know what? It's another counterspell. Spreading Seas, I'm iffy on. I do like Spreading Seas a lot against 3-color Burn. Against 2-color Burn, it could be a lot worse. I definitely want the Huntmasters, even though they have Skullcrack, because life gain and making 2 bodies is super relevant, and I'm excited to see what Basilisk Collar does. On the play, I keep my Snapcaster Mages. On the draw, I like boarding out 1, just because you can end up with too many Snapcaster Mages. Nux and Curator are coming out because I don't want to be that slow. One Thought Scour going to go, although that's probably going to stay if we end up dropping that Spreading Seas. Yeah, see, Seas usually is extremely good. The only problem I have with it is when they can just Skullcrack or something like that for the rest of the match. But I think it's probably worth keeping. Vapor Snag, very temporary. Dismember costs us a lot of life. I think we're going to go with what I recommended to myself in my spreadsheet. If you guys want to see the spreadsheet, to see how I sideboard, there is a link in pretty much every video on my YouTube channel. This hand is fantastic. There's also a link under announcements, so you guys can head there to check it out. I'm going to see if I can conveniently get to the announcements section to just paste it into the chat, just in case anyone wants to see it. Turn 1 Visions again. This time we might not fetch right away, although we have a lot of blue cards. We probably want double blue, even though that makes me extremely sad. We're still gonna do it. Oh, how this hurts. But you know what? Sometimes against Burn, you just have to get your mana. Basilisk Collar, that should be fun. Snapcaster Mage I don't want right now. Third land looks to be pretty good, so we're gonna keep it. Foothills, Shock, probably something like a Goblin Guide. Yep, well, that's another good reason to put the Misty on top. Not one that I considered, but it is a good reason. Until we need the Steam Vents, we're not going to bother with it, just in case we can find a window to play that tapped. Goyf we're going to put down very happily here, because even if they Path or trade Goblin Guide and a Bolt with it, we have Mandrills to come down next. And that's going to be a fun time. The opponent is thinking about what to do. That's a Rift Bolt, which is fantastic for us. This might be the best position we could possibly be in. Snapcaster Mage, okay. I don't really want to shock here, so I believe we're going to play this tapped. Don't want to swing yet. So we're going to pass the turn. And I think I want 2 mana up, so we're not going to play the Collar just yet. Scour plus Mandrills could have been a thing. That might have been right. I have a feeling that was probably right. I don't like that that shrinks Goyf even more, but we get to leave at least 1 card type, which isn't the worst. That's going to hit us. We can't easily counter that, so we're going to let it happen. I don't really want to Scour and then try to denial that. Yeah, Snap is a good point too. If they don't attack here, we're just going to Scour ourselves. And they're missing land drops, which does happen to both of our decks, really. I like that we found a good window to put that Steam Vents into play tapped. There's a link to the spreadsheet in my Dropbox if anyone wants to see it, and I'm pretty sure we counter that path with extreme prejudice. Even though it means that we no longer have path up, well, hey, there's a mana leak, so that works. We probably want to get a basic island here and just slam a bunch of stuff, right? We can put down mana leak for Collar plus Equip, which seems decent. I want to start attacking. I very much want to start attacking the opponent, especially because they're low on lands, because they're not going to be able to fire off enough burn spells to really harass us. So let's start to see what Collar can do. Are we going to want to cast Mandrills? We have a lot of stuff in the graveyard right now. Or do we hold up Spell Snare? Think it's going to be Mandrills. In for 3. Gain 3. I love lifelink against aggro decks. I never realized how good lifelink was until I put a Collar on a dude. They have, besides Grim Lavamancer, very few ways of exiling things in graveyards, specifically theirs. So I think we're just going to dump all of the lands, not care about Traverse really. I kind of want all of the instants that are not named Thought Scour, and they scooped. Cool. Let's head back to the board. I think we're going to keep what we... No, we don't keep this. I'm going to board out 1 Snapcaster Mage, because I generally board out a Snapcaster Mage on the draw against burn. I think Snapcaster Mage is at least a little bit slow. It's not the slowest, and I definitely like the card. In general, definitely. However, I also kind of like Pyroclasm against burn on the draw, because when they have those unbeatable Goblin Guide, Swift Spear starts, you can Clasm away a lot of creatures. Gives similar card advantage, and also makes for excellent tempo. So I'm going to run that. We are on the draw. Game 3 here in match 5. The thrilling conclusion. Let's see what goes down. By the way, thanks to anyone who decided to stop by. It's been a fun time. I'm probably going to try streaming more. I have to assume they're AFK, right? Is there any scenario in which Burn does not want to be on the play? Not one that I can think of. I also kind of like that we didn't run into 5 interactive decks, because those matches tend to go pretty long, and I don't know if I would have been pretty happy to stream for like 4.5 hours straight. I probably would have needed a bathroom break. This hand's glorious. We actually had really good hands in this league. We mulliganed a few times, but these were good hands. Sacred Foundry tapped is Excellent. Makes me almost want to hold up Spell Snare. Second Goyf makes me pretty hesitant to hold up Spell Snare. Let's get a Steam Vents. The other two fetches are probably going to get basics. If this is an Eidolon, I'll be a little sad, but I think I want to get this out. Ooh, another Forest. Okay. When are we going to be able to cast this? Turn 3 is probably Goyf plus 1 mana spell. So we might be able to use this eventually. Turn 2 is almost certainly Slam Goyf. That or Bolt and hold up Spell Snare. If we have to Bolt, that's probably the line. If we don't, it's going to be Goyf. Rest in Peace. That makes Goyf a lot worse. I do not expect Burn to board in Rest in Peace against me, so I don't play around it. We are going to have a lot of bad cards in this deck. On the other hand, we still have a lot of awesome ones. Bobble gets a lot worse with Rest in Peace in play, so we're going to pass to them. I wonder if they kept a slow hand on the back of Rest in Peace. Goblin Guide's fine, that's going to attack, we're going to bolt it. What do we got? Lightning Bolt. That makes me even happier to do this. At some point, we might end up playing out a Tarmogoyf, but I don't see it as being particularly good. We're going to go Land Pass. Grab a basic island, probably. Cast the Thought Scour. Don't really want to scour right away. Eidolon's going to get snared. That would have made Goyf pretty dang good. Let's get a basic island. Pretty unlikely we need double green with Rest in Peace in play. Basilisk Collar might one day be good. Simic Charm also might be good. Why do you like scouring the opponent? I guess it doesn't actually matter, but to keep more cards in our library in case whoever has fewer cards is relevant, I'm genuinely curious. I'm going to play out a Tarmogoyf here because we may as well have a chump blocker at our leisure. But why? What makes it... I understand that scouring us doesn't matter, but is there anything that makes scouring them particularly good? I should have played Basilisk Collar there. That was a misplay. That's going to get bolted. Do we expect them to have 2 instants to save this? Probably not. That's fair, but we're milling random cards, so I don't think it technically matters. Simic Charm actually makes Goyf blocking relevant. This is going to get a basic mountain eventually. Or actually, we should be getting a tapped green source. Well, theoretically, to that same point, if we do decide... I think I want to put this here, just in case we go Simic Charm. If we do decide to mill the opponent, maybe we mill 2 lands or a land and a Rest in Peace, and then they end up closer to their threats. So I don't think it actually works out, but I could be totally wrong on that. They shocked, so this is probably a Boros Charm. Or a Helix. Searing Blaze, that's fine. Hexproof won't save us from that. It'll save Tarmogoyf, but that's not doing a lot. Eidolon, that's going to resolve, unfortunately. And now we might be in a bad spot. Let's grab a Breeding Pool. Oh, we milled a Stomping Ground. That's relevant. Milling lands that we want to draw. That is definitely relevant. Mishra's Bauble is so bad when they have Eidolon in play. We're going to pass. On the bright side, we're close to hard casting Mandrills. We're in a terrible spot. Huntmaster. Huntmaster is exactly what I want to top deck. Both of them back to back. Let's do it. They didn't attack. I don't know why. I'm scared. Is that a misclick? Should I be terrified of what they might be doing? That's not good. We've been drawing a lot of Tarmogoyfs. Not that we don't play a lot of Tarmogoyfs, but still. A lot of Goyfs getting drawn. Lightning Helix is going to happen. It could be advantageous to bounce the Eidolon so that we can cast Bauble. They're not attacking, and I don't know why. Are they playing around Snapcaster Mage? They could be. They could be. Do I want to we'll wait. We'll see what we draw here to decide. Okay, we're going to Simic Charm this. It's definitely not good, but we're still going to do it. Get this out of here. Kind of want to check their top card. It is a Lightning Bolt. That's pretty unfortunate. Now we can leak it, which is nice. Oh, we can leak the Eidolon. You're smart. You are smart. Oh, hey, Mike. Thanks for joining. We hit Traverse, which probably doesn't count for much. We can leak the Eidolon, which seems like a good play. We're going to get bolted, which is not good. But at least Eidolon doesn't take us out. If they have Bolt plus another 1-mana burn spell, we are in fact dead. Chances are we're just dead regardlessly, but Mandrills! Can't cast it. So close. Next turn. We're probably dead by then, but next turn. Get the mountain. Put it into play. Oh, so close. I'm going to play a Tarmogoyf in case they have a Goblin Guide. And let's pass to them. Bolted us. We knew about that one. Do you have another? Pretty likely they have a burn spell here. If they do, the league's over. Even if they don't, the league's pretty close to over. And it's a land. They were paying costs, though. Searing Blaze. It's a Searing Blaze. That's why. Or it's a Boros Charm. Oh, they were playing around Mana Leak. That'll do. Well, we 3-2'd. And that's not bad. That's probably all the Magic I'm going to play for now. Because that was almost 2.5 hours of Magic. And unfortunately, I can't play Magic all day every day. Which is a shame. I'll probably be streaming again during the week. I'm thinking around Thursday, maybe Friday, something like that. So if you guys want to join me again, feel free. If not, well then, that's alright too. Anybody have any questions about the deck? I am pretty happy to 3-2. Whenever I do better than 2-3, I'm pretty happy because that means we get to play the next league without spending another 12 USD, which is always a good thing. If you guys want to catch more of my content, you can find me on YouTube, MNESMTG, MNESMTG. If you search that, it comes up. I checked. You can find me here on Twitch, hopefully sometime soon, although I doubt I'm going to be streaming more than once every few weeks, because having Blood Moon against Burn, maybe. Can't say it would have been good there. They had a lot of red spells, but it might be okay. I'm still not sure. Keep us posted on that. If Blood Moon turns out to be amazing against Burn, I would be happy to hear about it. I still don't really like spending all the tempo. So, yeah. That's about it. I will see you guys, hopefully, in the next league. It shuts down the white spells, but you're spending 3 mana and a card for it. And yes, the white spells are really good, but they didn't cast many white spells in that match. They cast a few Boros Charms, a couple Helixes, and a Path. But it's the bolts that usually get you. And if we're tapping out for Blood Moon on turn 3, it's more likely that the bolts will get you. But there is some merit to it, I'll give you that. Anyways, I will hopefully see you all in the next league. Thanks for stopping by. And, well, have a nice day. Hopefully you all enjoyed that, and thank you all for watching.